So in my last video, I solved the error of the control net conditioning scale using a random Chinese site that I could barely decipher. And we were able to get this workflow running. It uses this image for the uh, face image on the node. And the input on the InstantID generation node says face image. It takes this face and it'll use this pose. So let's see what happens using the pose data from my pose data video, which I also just released. Name GR is not defined. It didn't like that pose data. Let's see if it runs with this more of an image rather than just pose data. Why isn't it working? It's supposed to use pose data. It says pose image, which indicates that maybe it's supposed to be an image. Let's see if it uses this leaning forward pose. Didn't really work on the pose. Let's see. Okay, we have this other pose here. Let's see if this image works. It's the same pose data I was trying to load, but it's the image without the pose data extracted. Maybe it's the file name or some other issue. Why isn't my pose data loading? Okay, we are generating the image with new pose data. Let's see if it alters anything. If it's not just a frontal portrait. Okay, it's taking a second to generate. They're making good images. I like the images. The face resemblance is on point. It's just the pose is the issue right now. We can also mess with the style. That's what I haven't messed with yet. I haven't messed with the prompts yet, and that's what we can look at further in this video. I will make a more colorful image next. Okay. Well, it's a little more full body. The composition overall, she's leaning over at almost the same angle as her. She's almost in the same position here of her face. In her face, the quadrant is about the same. She's not doing the same exact pose, but you can see elements of the pose are indicated in this, and I think it is working because the positioning of her face is the same, the angle, and it's stylized into the film noir style. Now let's try vibrant color, retro game, a woman, retro futurism, retro game, and we will add vibrant color palette, limited to cyan, purple, and bright orange hues. Let's see if it does anything. Now it'll take a minute to run again. And this image isn't upscaled. I could have made this image nicer, where this image is just for the pose data. And this image is just for the face. I think it's working. Let's see what the new style looks like. I added vibrant color palette limited to cyan, purple, and bright orange hues. And changed the style name to vibrant color. I didn't look at any of these settings yet. That could be what I look at next. The InstantID generation settings. Here we go. Oh, beautiful. Wow. Good job. It's working. I like that. It's beautiful. I could play with that all day. I wish the pose was accurately followed to a greater extent. It's more the positioning relatively loosely, but I think if I used canny, I used depth, integrated some other technologies here, I think I could probably achieve greater adherence to what I would like to accomplish. But I think it's good to get some things that aren't exactly what you expected. You get new ideas, new things that are better than you ever could imagine using AI. AI is creating things that are impossible to create with other means. My final thoughts are that I do wish it would take the pose data that you use for control nets and T2I adapters, and you could use that same data with this. I was getting really caught up in those other technologies. This is a different technology, so you can't expect it to work the same. I think this is creating a really good image. We'll create one more and see if it generates something different and exciting for us. We'll keep the settings the same and see if it generates something new or it has a CFG essentially that is higher or lower, is how I would usually relate it to the sampler, which this is basically doing the sampling. The InstantID generation is basically an advanced sampler that is taking in the pose data, insight face, the model, which has loaded the control net, the base model, InstantID model, or is it an IP adapter InstantID loader model? I'm sorry. IP adapter InstantID model. Those are daisy chained and loaded into the InstantID generation node, which is sampling and taking all of those inputs into account. And wow, our image is done, and it's made another really impressive image. And we could mess with the prompt all day, generating new images that are just exquisite. Alright, well, that's it for now. We won't mess too much with these settings yet. Besides, I do want to see the enhanced face region next. Steps just mean it will increase quality as you go up, but it'll take longer. It's a matter of your hardware, and I'm honestly not sure what IP adapter scale and control net conditioning scale do, so I won't mess with those. And the same with guidance scale yet, not in this video. But stay tuned for more ComfyUI videos and more stable diffusion information with alien machine AI.